There are lots of options for running large language models in 2025. Let's look at the fastest. These are not necessarily the best in terms of quality of output, but given how fast they are the best choice for certain use cases. Number 2, the second fastest provider right now is Groq. That is Groq, not to be confused with the AI arm of Twitter, or X, which is Grok. So Groq is damn fast, and it was the fastest for a while. If you want to try this out, you can just go on their website. Let's do a quick demo. And it's done. Here you can see the speed, about 1200 tokens per second, which is really fast. Much faster than anything you can run locally on your computer. Groq also provides a whole bunch of different models, which is nice, including the recent DeepSeek R1 reasoning model, which is supposedly almost as good as O1, one of the excellent reasoning models from OpenAI. Unfortunately, if you're using these models for free, like they let you do on their website, you might run into this issue where they just don't serve your request right away and you have to wait. Luckily, we can go into the console. So if you create an account and log into Groq, you can get here in the console. It's just a playground where you can experiment with the models. So here we can select DeepSeek and we can run it and we can see how fast it is. So 275 tokens per second, that is pretty fast, but it is not extremely fast yet. Still pretty fast, but of course we can do better. So let's get to number 1 on the list of fastest LLM providers, which is Cerebras. So just like with Groq, you can go on their website and you can try out their inference immediately. Whew, and it's done. Over 2,000 tokens per second, which is the fastest I have seen so far. And this is also Cerebras' claim to fame, is that they are the fastest. They have specialized hardware that allows them to run inference really fast. Let's try running DeepSeek over here. Whew. That's fast. So this was slower than the smaller model, but DeepSeek is much better in terms of quality of output, and it still achieved almost 1,500 tokens per second. And just like all the other providers, Cerebras has a playground you can get into if you create an account. Here I am in the playground, in my own account, and we can run the same thing. But because I'm using this for free, I am hitting some sort of rate limit, which you might experience as well. And this is currently the biggest downside of Cerebras that I can see, is they don't allow you to pay them. We'll talk about that in a second. But just for the purpose of the demo, we can use one of their lesser models, which has higher rate limits than DeepSeek R1. And you'll see that it is very fast. So number 2 fastest LLM provider in 2025 is Groq. And number 1, the fastest so far that I've seen, is Cerebras, coming in at over 2,000 tokens per second for the smaller models and around 1,500 tokens per second for DeepSeek R1, which is pretty impressive considering how good DeepSeek R1 is at reasoning. So let's get into the differences between these two providers, aside from the speed, and why you would choose one over the other. There are 2 big differences right now as I make this video. The first difference is that Groq supports a lot more models. It supports many different LLMs. And so here you can see that we're in Cerebras and there are only 3 options here. If we go into the Groq playground, we can open up the models list and you see that there are a lot more options here. But something that's also really interesting about the Groq list is that they support Whisper. So if you want to do transcription, if you want to do speech to text, you can also do that via this API and it is very fast. You have the 2 OpenAI Whisper models, but you also have the Distill Whisper Large transcription model, which is the fastest. And not just because it's Groq, it's the fastest if you run it locally on your own system as well. This is a really fast transcription model and it provides very good quality. Groq also provides vision models, as you can see here, which can be really important if you have any use case involving images. And these days, that is a lot of use cases. Multimodal is becoming the norm, so almost every provider is giving you some option to use images or other file types. And Cerebras does not currently support any of that, although I suspect it will fairly soon. So the second big difference and big problem if you want to use Cerebras is that Cerebras does not let you pay them currently, while Groq does. If we go into the pricing page for Cerebras, it says coming soon. So you essentially just cannot pay them. Now, why is this a problem? You can use it for free, but the rate limits are really low. If you want to run your own prompts and get really fast responses, you'll likely do fine. You likely won't hit the rate limits. However, if you want to use this in any sort of product, you're going to have trouble because you'll hit rate limits immediately, really quickly, assuming you have any number of users. So you can see here all the rate limits for their current models, and you can also see that I'm not even allowed to use DeepSeek. It turns out the rate limit is 0. And for the smaller model, the Llama 8 billion, I can only do 30 requests per minute, and that is a very small number. 2 requests per second. So like I said, if you have any number of users, you're going to hit that really quickly. But if it's just you using this via the command line or some application, it won't be an issue. So let's go back to Groq. Groq does allow you to pay. Here we're on the pricing page, and you can click upgrade here. As I'm making this video, this happened in the last few days. So that's all for now. If you want speed, go to Cerebras, but you can only use it for personal use cases as of this video. If you want a bit less speed, but you actually want to be able to use it for projects, go to Groq. And aside from speed, if you want something else, like the best possible reasoning, you probably want to go to OpenAI or Anthropic. They still have not been overturned. Maybe go to DeepSeek R1, some hosted version. It doesn't necessarily have to be from these providers. When what you want is reasoning, speed is less important. And of course, if your primary concern or use case is privacy or offline usage, then you just have to go local. You don't want to be sending your data to the cloud, and that means running models that are potentially slower. I have another video about the fastest models you can run locally if you're running on a Mac. So it really depends on your use case, which provider to pick, and then which model within that provider to pick. That is all for now.